Welcome back. Okay, members. We're good to go. Right, so we're going to revert back to the let's get the right agenda item here. We are going to revert back to the white paper regarding this agenda item 8. So bearing in mind we've had discussion about exempt information just now, we are resuming back to the white paper. Do we want any further discussion, or would you like to go straight to the vote on the recommendations? Councillor Henderson, did you want to say something?
Well, I was only going to say, I believe we will need an amendment to cover item 4.
Yes,
In the
which
same way of the.
yes, that's right. And we're changing the word lane to road. So, so the recommendation is as printed, but we're also going to have a delegation under item 4 to the head of legal services for any legal work that's required. And item 5, it would be Church Road as a correction.
No, item 4 is legal services together with
Yes.
the chairman and.
Oh, yes, apologies. Yes.
I made an amendment and we agreed it.
We did. It is. So it incorporates the amendment we've previously voted on. So thank you very much. Sorry.
Okay.
Right. Let's go back. Right. Let's vote on that. All ready to vote? Do we all agree?
Yeah.
Is that unanimous? So yeah, excellent. We all agree. Agenda item 8 as per discussion. All right. Next item. This is agenda item 11. And this is the land and buildings at Town Wharf, Conduit Street, Faversham, future ownership. I'm going to hand straight over to David. And it's fair to say we have a white paper. We also have an additional blue paper with confidential information. So we will speak only to the white paper at this point in time.
And you'll all be delighted to hear it's me again. Apologies again. Hopefully this will be a little bit more straightforward. Again, Chair, by your leave, I'll just read the recommendations and then proceed the report. To agree in principle the possibility of securing a disposal of the entire site to a user or occupier who can invest and with the required capital to manage and maintain the historic buildings on the site to the required level. That any disposal of the site be considered in conjunction with historic and future community uses of the site. That disposal of the site seeks to maintain the use of the quay and grassed area for such use where possible without damaging any financial viability of a substantive use of the site, and that authority is delegated to the head of the Regeneration, Economic Development and Property to complete the necessary legal formalities, negotiate and agree leasehold or freehold contracts as applicable, and undertake any additional work required to achieve disposal. And I will add in as an officer's amendment that includes the head of legal. And we also want a representative consultation with the chair and representative. Yeah, I can do that, not a problem. So for those of you aware, TS Hazard is a very historic building, about 600 years old, Tudor timber framed former warehouse. It's been used by the Sea Cadets as a training ship, hence the TS reference for some time. It's located on a piece of land which has a grassed quay area to the rear of it, and Martin will probably laugh at me when I say that that's run on an honesty box basis for wharfage or quayage or whatever the correct term is on the riverfront. There's also a pumping station which is not in the council's freehold and which is with the water board, and there's a boxing club in a slightly more modern, although albeit Victorian building. The Sea Cadets no longer occupy TS Hazard due to the degradation of the building and its condition. They ceased occupation within the last 12 months, and their lease expired last month and has not been renewed, so the property is now vacant. There is a tenant, Quayside Boxing, in the other building. Their lease has been agreed but not formalised, and they are holding over on their previous lease. The council's repairing liabilities, which are on the blue paper, so I'll only reference them in passing, are substantial. And on that basis, it's felt that the council doesn't have the capital resources available at this current time or any allocated resources to undertake the works required to protect the building and its historic nature. Consequently, the report is drawn on the basis that we are looking to dispose of the property so that it can be protected and disposed of to somebody who is in a better position to maintain it than the council. The town council last year submitted a community right to bid application for the whole of the site, but it was approved by officers for the two buildings on the site, that being TS Hazard and the boxing club. So should the committee decide to agree to dispose of the site, that would start off a process where the town council have 6 months in order to put together a business case for the proposal to purchase, which would need to be considered by officers. Is there any question?
Members? No. Very quiet.
Not on the white paper.
Ah. Okay, councillor Valentine, then councillor Harrison.
So would the disposal include the right to collect the mooring fees on the town wharf? And what about the maintenance of the wharf? Would that be the tenant's responsibility?
Seeking the right to dispose the whole of the site on a freehold basis. So yes, that would include the wharfage, moorage, whatever, sorry, I'm not seeing it, whatever the correct term is. And obviously, if it was a freehold disposal, the council would no longer have any repairing obligations on the site.
Okay, councillor Harrison.
You said, whatever it was you said, Fashion Town Council had put in a bid for, and officers have decided that basically you can look at these two areas. I mean, I get that. And I'm not that au fait with the legislation, so they've got 6 months to come up with the goods, and it's got to be a non-political decision, I get, which officers will say yay or nay to. And say you say nay. I'm looking at the recommendations 1, 2, 3. They don't all apply if you turn around and say yay to FTC. That's what I'm trying to get at. So I don't want us agreeing things that actually aren't going to happen, or tying hands or anything like that.
David. Sorry, David, over to you.
Sorry, Chair, I jumped the gun.
That's all right.
My understanding of the community right to bid process is that it has to be on the buildings that are currently being used by the community, hence why they could only be agreed that they could purchase those two buildings rather than the land. Sorry, just racking my brain to get around to the other point you just raised. With regard to disposal, the paper is asking committee to approve the disposal, because that is the key with this report. We can't look after the building in its current condition. So it's not asking can we dispose to the town council, it's asking can we dispose of the freehold. But because the town council have made that community right to bid, which has been accepted, we have to allow them that opportunity, if we decide to dispose, to come up with their business case. We are obviously all still bound by best consideration rules, and the freehold will have a value. And if the town council's proposal doesn't meet the best considerations, or there is a better proposal on the table in terms of financial consideration, then that would obviously, I'm advising you that should be the overriding decision in the process.
So Harrison.
If I can come back, because I've got to
Yeah.
be clear on this. So that's the area. But that's the two buildings, right? So no, the three, that's what's left. Shut up. Suck him around the edge. So although that's being looked at with FTC, this we are still looking to dispose of. I don't see any more on there.
Lovely, good. Councillor Henson.
Yeah, can I ask, is it appropriate to ask on white paper, or shall I leave it till we get to blue paper? Option 1, sorry, not option 1, proposal 1, to agree in principle possibilities securing disposal An occupier who can invest the required capital to manage and maintain the historic buildings. Do we have any knowledge at this stage of whether such organisations exist?
Yes.
They're historic, and it's before my time, but historically there has been interest from a commercial occupier for the freehold, yes.
Okay, councillor Clark, sorry, did I miss you out?
Yeah, you did, Chair.
No, I'm sorry,
Not
I
to worry.
apologise.
Wearing my other hat through the door there,
Mhm.
on occasion, in company of the Mayor of Faversham, and I don't wish to try and stand on any of the Faversham councillors' toes, might be members of the Faversham Town Council. It's my understanding that those buildings and that site are considerably prone to flooding. Hence why the buildings are in such poor condition. It has been made known to me that Faversham Town Council, or certainly the Mayor of Faversham, is of the opinion that the Town Council would like to take over that site so that they could actually repair the buildings and bring them back into use. I don't want to preempt anything on blue paper, but I just wanted to understand that concept, if you like. But would it then be on that site, if should the town council take over the site, it would be their responsibility to sort out the flooding problem, so to speak?
Yes, if they take over the asset, and depending on the terms that are agreed, they would be responsible. I'll hand over to David.
Again, I'll come back to the point I made to Councillor Harrison. I'm very much of the opinion the report is asking for consent to dispose of the asset on a freehold basis. And the fact that the town council have the right to bid on, and that's what they've got, the right to bid, so offer a capital amount for the site. Not in terms of a business case. It's not about presenting a community asset transfer, for example. It's not that they have the right to bid on the freehold basis, but because it's under a community right to bid scheme, we have to, as a council, consider if they are financially viable to be able to do that. So that's the key question, hence the bit on blue paper. It's a substantial amounts of money, and that would be a consideration when officers are considering any bid that the town's council would make. But apart from that, there's the opportunity, we're looking for the consent to dispose of the site on a freehold basis, and whether that be to the council, town council, or whether it be to an independent commercial purchaser. We're not saying who it's going to be, because we can't prejudge that decision.
Thank you. Got Councillor Whiting. Oh, the hands are popping up.
Just
Hold on, Councillor. Yeah, that's all right. Councillor Whiting. Then I think I've got Councillor Bowen, then Councillor Hunt.
yeah, I thank you, and I'm grateful for the clarification that David's just given. So I think I understand it. At the end of the day, though, if the town council just simply come up with a checkbook and said we'd like to buy the site, and not as part of a community right to bid, they could simply buy the site and do it outside that formal framework. Thank you.
Councillor Bowen.
Further to that, then, if they were to do that, I presume would we then also have to look to go out to potential other people who might be interested? And if they don't, there's my understanding therefore would be that from whatever dates, I presume after, if we were to agree that then there's a moratorium 6 months of nothing potentially happens, whilst Faversham Town Council do if they choose to do something, and if they don't, so we've got a gap of nothing for the next 6 months.
I think the simple answer is we're not sitting doing nothing. The officer will be investigating for the best financial and outcome. I mean, this is a really lovely historic asset in a superb location in the heart of Faversham. There will be interest, and you will be doing the legwork. Yes, go for it.
Thank you, Chair. I think it's safe to say that we are aware of the town council's interest, and the date would be of the committee, if we were to make the decision, this committee were to make the decision to dispose, that would be the start of that 6-month process. And obviously within that time, we aren't going to sit on our hands. We're going to have a dialogue with the town council to ascertain their intentions, to figure out whether or not they can would put themselves forward as a serious bidder. And at the same time, we would be looking to see if there's somebody in the commercial market looking for that opportunity. There's nothing in the legislation that precludes us from exploring other avenues, and we would be doing that in conjunction with that.
Thank you.
Councillor Hunt?
Thanks. All I want to say is really is I don't need the blue paper at all. We come up. I just agree with everything that's on the white paper, but I think it is good the way that this is being looked at. I think whilst the town council would like to have it, if I was a town council, I wouldn't want it because it's going to be costing them too much. But I just think that if you get the old building, you know it's going to. Well, that's fine. I'll have a word with them if they want. But I mean, in the past, we would just hand it to someone else and do an asset transfer. And I think we need to be looking at council to get the income and start looking at things different. And I can say that as someone that has had an asset transfer from the council from another charity, and we got the best deal out of it as a charity. The council would have been mad to really give it what they've done. And I think we too often are giving properties and land away and bits, and this is a much better way to do it. So I'm really pleased it's being done this way.
Good. Councillor Henderson?
If I can just come back briefly, in view of what's been said, I cannot resist saying that there is clearly a capital value. I have no idea what it is, but whatever the capital value is, it is certainly a lot less than it was some while ago, and that is marked by the fact that in the period from 2002 to 2019, no money whatsoever was spent on the maintenance of TS Hazard, and the council has done some surveying work now, and I won't mention the blue paper obviously, but the blue paper does talk in terms of maintenance which might be due, and so we're facing something where the capital value has declined for reasons of the actions of Borough Council.
So I agree with some of that sentiment. I think we have done some emergency repair work to the roof quite recently, where there's been yeah, I know. But in also capital values inflation has significantly increased over the last few years. So whilst the repair bills got significantly bigger, so too have the capital values, and the allure and draw of, you know, what is a really attractive town centre, and also a quayside property here. Right, is there anyone who wants to discuss the blue paper item? Because if we don't, then I think this simplifies things somewhat. Good, right, we don't. So there's a lot of shaking of heads, and I see no one who positively wants to discuss it, so that's good. So based on the proposals set out by the officer or the recommendations with the amendments, let's vote on this. Unanimous. Okay, thank you. That is carried, the recommendations. I think we're closed, aren't we? We're now finished. I think I don't think there's anything else. So thank you very much. What was a very complicated set of items tonight, so thank you for your time. Yes, and well done to all the officers here present at the meeting tonight. So thank you for your time. The meeting's 17.